Alright folks, it's Diecast Pulpy here again. And I think it's kind of time to do a NASCAR prediction talk 2019 rule package everything video. So, I've been stewing a little bit on my kind of, thoughts going around about the new NASCAR season, which is just days away essentially. I mean, what the Clash is on Sunday, and here this is recording on Monday, so I mean, it's right there, folks. Opening practice, just days away. So, very exciting stuff, and a lot to get into. So, starting off 2019, it's going to be entirely different than what we're used to. We have an entirely new rules package that's going to really, I think it's going to hurt the overall quality of racing rather than improve the quality of racing. NASCAR has realized that their intermediate and, the bulk of the schedule has been pretty weak on quality of racing. It's been kind of down in the dumps, and they're trying to do something to fix that. Their idea to that is pretty much intermediate restrictor plate racing. Yeah, they're not using a restrictor plate, but they're using a tapered spacer that does essentially the same thing to a race car engine. So, NASCAR is going to try to implement this at pretty much every racetrack almost, and I think it's from the test session that they had at Las Vegas, I think this is a huge mistake. The racing looks very similar to how NASCAR Heat works on the intermediate tracks. How you start the green flag, the cars go around, and then everyone's just like nose to tail. It's not, gapping, they don't pull away each lap. It looks like they're going to be nose to tail, single file for 300 laps. The test session, I think, proved what was already known, that this was the wrong way for NASCAR to go, and clearly is not going to improve the quality of racing. Surprisingly, though, to my, my own knowledge, a lot of people seemed excited about it, and that really kind of mind boggles me, because everyone was complaining that this was going to be the wrong direction to it, and what everyone has been speculating happened in the 2019 test session at Las Vegas with the new rules package. They did, what was it, like a 20-something lap run or 40 lap run, I forget what it was, but they had like 10 cars on the track, and it just was not good. Not good at all. The cars could barely pass, and I really think this is the wrong direction. This is not what people want, and I think it's the wrong direction there. But it's going to make passing even harder, which is something the fans don't want. We want more passing. We want side-by-side hard racing. Once again, NASCAR is trying to create artificial close racing. We've seen how the stages work, how they're trying to create excitement, the caution clock in the Truck Series, the playoffs. They're trying to create drama artificially, and it's never worked, and it still has not worked to this day. Moving forward, NASCAR has announced a brand new rules infraction policy. So, like the previous years, you'd get what was it, like an L1, L2 penalty, and you'd get like docked like $100,000. Your crew chief suspended, whatever, car chief suspended, yada 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 yada. You'd get an encumbered finish, which basically meant that if you finish first in a race in the regular season and you get an encumbered finish, that means you cannot be eligible to the playoffs from that win. Now that means you have to go essentially win another race to get locked in. Well, NASCAR understands that just an encumbered finish, it's nowhere near enough, folks. You have drivers from these big level teams who go out here and deliberately push the rule book beyond the gray area, and they get caught, and they get a slap on the wrist. That's all they get. You got guys out there who last year, Kevin Harvick, he won like 8 races last year, and he won at Texas, and then they said, oh, no, that's an encumbered finish. He's got to go out there, and he's got to earn it at Phoenix. Well, Kevin Harvick still gets the trophy, he still gets the check, and he still gets the stat. I think that is completely wrong, that a team can go out there and cheat. That's what it is. It's cheating because it's outside the rule book. I know every team's trying to get an advantage, but when it's cut and dry, it's called cheating. And boom, they still get to keep everything. NASCAR is going to be changing that in 2019 with disqualification. So if you win a race and your car is illegal, essentially, you will be forfeiting that position on the racetrack, the points, the check, the statistic, the trophy, everything will be forfeited, and whoever finished second will get that as well. And if the second place car is illegal too, third place will get it, and so on and so forth. NASCAR is going to try to, from my knowledge here, expedite the whole process where inspections don't take nowhere near as long. I mean, there's been times where you run a race on Sunday and penalties aren't announced, I think, till Thursday, right before practice of the next week. I mean, NASCAR's trying to eliminate the bad PR from penalties, and they're making it cut and dry. This is going to make a huge deterrent to teams to not push the level, because someone is going to get busted on it and they're going to lose a trophy, the check, the stat, everything. They get to finish dead last. They get dead last points and dead last. Now, I don't know if there's going to be tiers to this where we're going to have a level 1 or a level 3 is the highest, whatever. Let's say it's a level 1. That's the highest one. You get you get disqualified. If there's a level 2, does that mean you kind of broke the rules a little bit, no big deal? Or is it like if your car broke the rules regardless how severe it is, you lose it all? I hope that's the case, because even though the sport grew up on teams pushing themselves, trying to do just anything they can, new systems, the slightest adjustments, they've worked so much on skewing the bodies and how the chassis and the suspension manipulate themselves essentially through the race to create more speed, downforce, whatever it may be. I think this is a good thing. These mega teams are just getting very greedy with pushing the limit way too much, and I think this might even kind of short the gap between the smaller teams and the bigger teams just a little bit, because the smaller teams, of course, they're trying to make the most what they can. They financially don't have the platform, such as like Stewart-Haas Racing or Hendrick Motorsports, but the smaller teams could possibly benefit from this, which I think is great. We have a brand new rules package, a brand new infraction policy, but we also got some news on Gen 7. Gen 7, apparently NASCAR is going to be trying to aim for 2021. This is a year later than most people expected. A lot of people said 2020 was the big year, but apparently 2021 is where NASCAR is looking. It's a little bit later than expected, but this new car apparently is going to be designed to attract a 4th or even 5th manufacturer, which means good things or bad things. Reading into it a little bit more, it talks about how the Gen 7 car wants to look even more like a production car, which I think is completely the wrong direction. Gen 4, it was the best era in NASCAR history. The viewership, the financial statistics, every single thing points that Gen 4 was the greatest era in NASCAR history. Gen 5 completely wiped away everything that Gen 4 really did. They sacrificed looks and drivability for safety, and the Gen 6 essentially did the same thing, but they didn't sacrifice looks. They wanted complete looks. They sacrificed racing quality. And I mean, how many different packages has the Gen 6 tried every year, and it still has not worked? The car looks good, but it doesn't race good. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if it's a cardboard box. If it races like a early to mid 2000s Gen 4, I want it. Gen 4 was the best. I think they should do a modern, or not modern, but up-to-date Gen 4 style. You can implement the safety they've learned from the Gen 5 and the Gen 6. You can implement the safety, systems from it, where new processes with the crush panels, the side panels. I mean, even where the driver is, how the driver, cockpit absorbs the G's itself. These cars became so safe, if not one of the safest race cars in the world. There's no question in my mind they could design a Gen 4 race car with modern safety abilities. So the season almost upon us. I think it's kind of fair to do a prediction, and for the 500 and the championship, So first off, we're going to start off with our Daytona 500 prediction. I think a lot of people they always pick the big name drivers. They always do. And I don't know. Daytona 500 as of recently has kind of been, it's kind of been the one guy you don't really expect to win that won. I mean, how many people expected Denny Hamlin to win the Daytona 500 in 2016? The guy won. It took him forever to win a restrictor plate race, I might add, but he's never been looked at as a restrictor plate guy. And then Kurt Busch, who he started in 2001, never won a restrictor plate race until all the way into 2017. And of course, last year, Austin Dillon, which if he didn't win it, it would have been Amarola. So either way, it would have been a wild card. You have Austin Dillon winning the Daytona 500. So no question, the last few years, it's been, I would say, pretty unexpected of the winner. Everyone picks, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, all those cats. But are they going to do it this year? I don't know. My personal prediction, and here's my theory behind it. So every year, there's always that one guy that everyone says is going to win. And generally when I pick a driver, they don't do good. Something happens to him. I mean, last year I picked Ryan Blaney. And let me tell you, for 150 laps of last year's 500, I thought Ryan Blaney was going to win it, and I was going to pick the first Daytona 500 win in a few years. I picked Logano to win the 2015 500. Now, there's no proof of that, but believe me, I did. I remember when Junior won the 500, I was going to pick Dale Jr., and then I changed my mind and I picked Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin ended up finishing, second in that race? And Junior ended up winning. I changed my mind at the last minute. Bad mistake. But last year I picked Blaney, and of course, he had the lightning car. I mean, one of the most dominant 500 cars, I think, in maybe a decade almost. I mean, I can't remember the last time. I mean, it was almost like 90s NASCAR dominant, where just one guy just goes around and just dominates the whole restrictor plate race. He had a great car that day, and unfortunately got collected in a late wreck. It was very disappointing because I really wanted him to win. But my prediction for it, I don't know if I really want him to win, but I'm going to say Kyle Busch. And here's my theory behind that. It's Kyle Busch has what? How many restrictor plate race wins does Kyle Busch have? He's won a Coke Zero 400, and I think that's it. He's never won the 500. He never won the 600 until last year. It was a long time before he won the Brickyard. He won the Brickyard. Of course, he's won the 500 or Southern 500 back in the old Gen 5 days. He never won the championship. 2015, he just goes up there, breaks his leg and wins the championship in the same season. It's crazy. Now, I am anything but a Kyle Busch fan, but I'm going to pick him. And here's why. Because I personally don't think he's going to win. And generally when that happens, the guy wins. So I'm going to pick Kyle Busch. Now, this could go either way. I pick drivers a lot, and they do absolutely garbage. So it could be a way to make Kyle Busch not do good, or it could mean that Kyle Busch is going to do really good. I don't know. I'm going to pick Kyle Busch for the 500 and the championship. Our last year's champion, obviously, was Joey Logano, and in my opinion, very undeserving of it, because you had two guys who won 8 races, and you had our guy who won like 4 or 5. Yet the guy who wins 1 or 2 races gets the championship. Blows my mind. But Joey Logano wins the championship. Never thought I would ever see him win a championship. I remember when it was 2012, he was outrunning Mark Martin at Pocono, and he got that win. And then the next year, he was in a Penske Ford. I think he stumbled that first year, and then the year after that, I remember watching him win, I think, Michigan or Kansas, and he really turned his career around. Maybe it was 2013, I don't know, but I remember him turning his career around. Of course, he's still racing the same paint scheme that he started at Penske with. And who's going to win the championship this year? Obviously, your favorites, Mark Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, same guys every year. Harvick, I thought he was going to win the championship. He didn't do it. Keselowski, I thought he was going to be in the Final Four. Didn't do it. Kyle Busch, he had a shot at it. I mean, realistically, though, it was going to be Martin Truex Jr.'s championship. I think he would have got around Kevin Harvick, which was leading, I think. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Final Four was Logano, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch, and then Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick was leading. Martin Truex Jr. was gaining on him, and then, of course, Daniel Suarez, which was Kyle Busch's teammate, spins out when Kyle Busch needs a caution. I think the champion this year is going to be another unexpected driver. I think it's going to be a driver that you think about it, it's like, is this guy really going to win the championship this year? And I really do think Kyle Larson will be the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion. Brad Keselowski won the championship in 2012. He started, full-time cup racing in 2008, 2009? I think it was 2009. That was his rookie season. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I just remember him winning at Talladega in some equipment. Keselowski winning the championship very young in his career. Even though he's not a young guy, he was very young in his career. Logano, took him like 10 years, but he won. But that's the thing, is that these champions, they're getting younger, and I think this is a year that it's not going to be the same guys that we always say is going to win. That's not how NASCAR works. There's always unexpected, there's always an unexpected element into each season. I think the NFL playoffs is a great example. Every year we say this team's going to win this division and this team's going to do it. But the matter of fact is, I believe it's almost every year that 4 teams that made it in the previous year miss out the next year. So there's always a rotating door of different opportunities, and that's what NASCAR is at the same time. You see drivers that are really dominant one year and just poop a duck the next year. 2013, Matt Kenseth was a great example, winning 7 races and not even winning a single race the next year. Carl Edwards, I think, was it 2008? I think 2008. He doesn't even win a race the next year. You can kind of see how that works there. Unexpected events happen a lot in NASCAR, and I think Kyle Larson winning the championship might not be unexpected to some people, but I think it would be, considering how young and he's only got 5 or 6 wins, but I think he's gonna get it turned around. I think Ford might stumble a little bit with their Mustang package, but I don't think they're going to skip a beat personally. I think there's a chance they might, but I don't think they will. In conclusion, I think Chevrolet is going to get things turned around. I really do. I think Chevrolet, it was a big learning curve last year. I do not expect Hendrick Motorsports to be how they were last year. I think it was just a one-off deal. It's a new year. It's a new year, fresh start. I mean, they did win the 500, so you can give them that. And Chase Elliott finally broke open the door and won 3 races, so he carried the banner for Hendrick, and I think he's going to carry the banner again. Do I think he's going to get 3 wins this year? No, I think, honestly, probably 1. I think he's going to get about 1, I think, honestly. Like I said, it fluctuates. It happens. Kyle Larson didn't win nothing last year, so, I mean, and it just happens. Do I think Jimmy Johnson's going to get a win? Man, you put me on the spot there. I don't know. Does Johnson get a win? I don't know. I'm going to say no. Jimmy Johnson does not win. I don't think he's going to win. I think Chase Elliott gets a win. I think, does William Byron win maybe? There's a chance. We're going to see a new winner. We see a new winner almost every year. And Eric Jones has already won. Only 2 really contenders for it, or 3, would be Bowman, William Byron, and Daniel Suarez. I can't see Suarez winning, which might just mean he might win a race, because every time I can't see something happening, it does happen. William Byron or Alex Bowman, I think one of those will win a race. If I had to go on a limb, I'm going to say William Byron. Could be wrong, though. Rookie of the year. I don't even know who's the rookie, to be honest, this year. I mean, I don't even know. What is it, Matt Tifft? I mean, I don't know. But in conclusion, we have a new rules package for the most races this year. Not a big fan of that. We're getting a new infraction policy, which I'm a huge fan of that. I think that Kyle Busch will finally get a Daytona 500. And I think that Kyle Larson will win the championship. I could be wrong. I could be right. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait 300 days to figure out if all that, shows up and happens. I know this video's gone on long enough. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, smash that subscribe button. You know, subscribers I can get, folks. Let's hit 200 before Daytona. Daytona 500 at least. Thank you all so much for watching. Absolutely appreciate it. Love all the support you'll give me on YouTube and on Instagram. Follow me over there. And you. Hope you have a great one. Diecast Buffet, signing off.